All right, so listen up. Forget, and I mean forget, everything you've ever learned from those super boring textbooks. Today, we're diving into the illegal, underground, maybe don't tell your teacher tips for beating that four-headed dragon they call IELTS. You can think of me as your chaotic older brother who somehow aced this thing and is now going to spill all the secrets.
And this right here, this is pretty much the absolute core truth of the entire test. See, IELTS isn't really about English. Nah, it's a game with some really specific, kind of strange rules. And honestly, the second you accept that, you're already halfway to winning. Seriously.
So, how do we actually slay this beast? It's pretty simple, actually. We take it one head at a time. You've got listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And trust me, each one has its own weird little personality, its own weaknesses, and oh yeah, we are going to exploit every single one. So let's start with the first one, listening.
The listening test. You know the one. This is where they try to break you, right? From the very start with this whole series of increasingly bizarre accents and weird scenarios. But hey, don't you worry. I've got the cheat codes.
Okay, let's just talk about the final boss of the listening section. I'm talking about Section 4. You know what I'm talking about? It is always some 60-year-old professor who sounds like he swallowed a didgeridoo and is now giving a lecture on, like, endangered frogs while eating a bag of chips. You will hear exactly 7 words clearly. The rest, it's just noise.
So here's your first hack. Before the audio even starts, you get 30 seconds. That is precious, precious time. Use every last bit of it. Read the questions. I mean it. If a question says, the library was built in blank, you know right away you're hunting for a year. That way, when the professor mumbles something like 1970-something, your brain just instinctively grabs the number, instead of, writing down 9017 bladder or whatever.
And here's the second hack, and this one is huge. They are obsessed with synonyms. Seriously, the question on the paper might ask, how many students use the lab? But in the audio, you're going to hear something like, approximately 600 undergraduates avail themselves of the facility. It's a trap. They're trying to trick you. So just ignore the fancy words, listen for the main idea, write down 600, and, mentally flip the bird at Cambridge.
But look, it happens. You zoned out, maybe you're thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, and suddenly, bam, you've missed 3 questions. You feel that panic rising in your chest. What do you do?
You guess C. Just guess C. It's statistically the most common answer. Now, am I proud of this tip? Not really. But did it save my life? Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the next circle of hell, the reading test. All right, welcome to the reading test. You get 60 minutes, 60, to read 3 academic passages that I swear are longer than my ex's apology texts. And for some reason, one of them is always about ants. I don't know why. Nobody knows why.
Look, the only way you're going to survive this is to completely change your mindset. Forget academic reading. That's boring. Instead, you're a detective. You're digging for juicy gossip. Look for the secrets, the drama, the main points, and just ignore all the boring filler.
Here's your treasure map. Are you ready? Do not read everything. Just read the first 2 sentences of each paragraph. That's it. That is where the main idea is always hiding. The rest of it, it's just jungle. It's fluff written by someone who deeply, deeply hates joy. So find the treasure and get out. And then you meet the meanest, most evil trap in the entire test. True, false, or not given. Here's the secret, okay? Not given means the information is literally not there. It's gone. It's on holiday in Ibiza, sipping a mojito. So don't try to guess or invent an answer. I'm telling you, I once wrote, probably the answer drunk, for a not given question. Yeah, I got a band 5 for that. Lesson learned.
All right, on to the next head of the dragon, speaking. Now, you got to understand, your examiner sees like 400 zombies a day, and every single one starts their sentences with, in my opinion, I think that. We are not going to be another zombie, okay? So here's the big secret to the speaking test. Ready? They are scoring you on fluency and coherence, not on the truth. Your only goal is to be memorable. Be a character. Be a little bit of a drama queen. Okay, for example, they ask you, do you like cooking? Now, a boring person says, yes. You're going to tell them a story.
Something like, well, I once tried to impress a date by making carbonara, but I accidentally used toothpaste instead of cheese. We broke up, but hey, my teeth have never been cleaner. And just like that, the examiner laughs, the tension is gone, and you've just bought yourself precious extra time to think while they're still chuckling. Now, for part 2, when they give you a topic like, describe a person who influenced you, please, don't talk about your teacher. No, talk about your drunk uncle who taught you that a hangover is a personality trait. Tell a dramatic story. And for part 3, when they ask you some big, profound question, just politely disagree with them. It forces you to use these complex sentence structures, and trust me, they absolutely love that stuff. And now, we face the final boss, writing. This is where we seal the deal. Look, the goal isn't just to write an essay. It's to write an essay that the exhausted, probably underpaid examiner will actually remember at the end of a very, very long day.
Yeah, the goal here isn't just to write a good essay. It's to make the examiner fall a little bit in love with you. And we're going to do it with a combination of charm and, well, pure, unadulterated chaos, all cleverly disguised in a perfect 4-paragraph structure.
It's so simple. Paragraph 1, a ridiculous hook, something crazy. Paragraph 2, you argue one side. Zoos are good for conservation, whatever. Paragraph 3, you argue the other side, but you make it memorable. Like, zoos are bad. I once saw a penguin that looked like it was on antidepressants. And then, paragraph 4, you give your final dramatic opinion. Boom, done.
Okay, now for a truly illegal tip. Are you listening? Examiners are basically robots, and they are programmed to love idioms, so here's what you do. You memorize 3 of them, and you force them into your essay even if they don't perfectly fit. Write something like, while some say zoos are a good thing, I believe it's a wild goose chase. I swear to you, a little light will go on in their brain, they'll underline it, and you'll get bonus points just for existing.
Okay, so we've covered all 4 sections, but I have one last secret for you. One final boss tip that works across every single part of the test. This is the ultimate weapon. The ultimate weapon is this. You smuggle in one completely unnecessary, super advanced word that you just love. My word, it was defenestration. And yeah, I used it in my speaking test. The examiner actually paused. He looked at me, then he smiled, and he wrote down a 9. True story. So find your word. Own it.
Because this is the ultimate truth of the entire test. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing some personality. It's about being interesting. It's about smuggling as much glorious, beautiful chaos as you possibly can into that rigid structure of grammar.
So forget the rules. Burn the textbook. Go in there, be an absolute legend, and kiss that dragon right on the mouth. I'll be waiting for you on the other side. You've got this. You